Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.
Well, hello, everybody. How did you feel hearing that song again? My name is Patrick Henry, and I'm excited to be back here on the back porch, and we have a large cast of characters with us. First of all, one thing that I am going to do for those of you who saw the pop-up yesterday is I'm going to take the word surreal out of my vocabulary because I listened back to it, and apparently I said it about 27 times. So we'll not be using that word again, but this is somewhat of an out-of-body experience. Very happy to be here because we get to reconnect with our friends and our family and our and I say that seriously because so many of you over the last year and a half have become friends to Jeanne and to myself and to all of the cast of characters. And so I'd like to first of all mention who we have in the room. So we've got Norma Rose. Freebird, why don't you hit the camera? So the guy waving right now is Freebird McKinney, one of my best friends in the world, North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Now he works for the state helping promote education in North Carolina and has agreed to run the camera. We have beautiful Norma Rose sitting there. She will be on here shortly. My wife, Leslie, and Kelly, and Lynn, and Keith, and Tony, the queen of tickets. Now, let me just mention Keith and Lynn for a second. A lot of you know who they are, but if you don't, 6 years ago, or so, Jeanne broke her femur. You may have heard. Put it back on me so if they can see me, Freebird. You may have heard that she broke her femur. She talked about it just a little bit, but she brought in Lynn Oakley to help care for her and get her back on her feet, literally. And Lynn wouldn't go away. And so, she's become a big part of Jeannie's life and of our life. And Keith drove her to shows all over the place because even though I drove her to D-Land, Florida, I couldn't drive her all the time. And Keith really filled that void and helped out a lot. So we're really happy to have them here with us today. And we have Kelly McKinney over there taking pictures with Leslie. And so we're going to have a lot of fun today, I hope. And we have a cast of characters that we're going to bring on shortly. That not yet, and that Jeanne just loved and admired so much, and so we're going to have a good show today. Let me go ahead and take care of one piece of I hate the word housekeeping, maybe because I don't like to do it, but a lot of you have been asking, how did Jeanne pass? What happened? And the short answer is, we're not going to go into details. Jeanne was a private person in her life, and we're going to honor that. But I will say this, she did not die of COVID. She was tested regularly, and she really was aware of her surroundings, and she did not ever have COVID. And she also, I want you to know, and I think she would want you to know, that she passed very peacefully. She basically went to sleep and just didn't wake up, which is the way I want to go a long time from now. But that's the way I want to go. So Tony, if you would share, all of you knew that Tony pretty much ran the show around here from behind the scenes, and housekeeping was her thing when it came to this Jeannie's business.
Maybe
so we got some housekeeping to talk
maybe
about.
on Jeannie's business, but I don't do it any more than you do.
That's right.
In a house. I just wanted to, what Jeanne always liked to call was, let's cover the logistics. She liked to use that word. We've had a lot of people are you all are all so kind and concerned about us, and we're doing well. We're busy, and you've kept us busy, and that probably helps a whole lot. The orders you sent in were overwhelming. We were always proud. Jeanne was always proud that we did everything in-house. We took care of all the orders so she could sign things the way you wanted them signed. We didn't try to go outsource things, and we are finally, I can say that all the orders received except the last couple of days are in the mail. If you've not gotten your order yet, it may have only been, give it another week, and then after that, do write and let me know if you're missing your orders, and we'll check on it and resend them if they've gotten lost.
That's Tony's very nice way of saying stop emailing. They're on the way.
No, that's fine. But also, one quick thing: if you're outside the U.S., which a lot of people I know are, we do ship to you. You get to pay the shipping on those, and you have to pretty much either send it in mail, print out the order form, or give me a call. And but we're happy to do that to Canada and England and Australia. We've shipped to everywhere, and we'd be glad to, but it's a little harder to do because you can't just order it on the website. Okay, one more thing. Patrick, I know you'll say this, but they can watch this later like the other shows, right?
Yeah, it's going to be on YouTube.
And it's on both now, right?
Right.
Okay. And many of you have donated to either Peg's PJs or to charities in your area, which is wonderful. And we have been informed of all your donations. Not you can't always tell if the right person knows that you did that, but we do. We get all the notes, all the information, everything from all the different charities, and especially from Peg. So,
and if y'all want to give anything else, you can always give to feed the children.
Yep.
My children.
Your children. Yes. I know. And but we do want everyone to know that those have been acknowledged to us, and at some point we will try to get proper thank yous to everybody, but we're a little slow. One other thing, many of you have written emails offering your condolences, and we appreciate every one of them. I would like to say I'm going to get around to responding to you, and I do plan to do that because we used to get that done easily. Right now there's so many, and I wanted to get the orders out first, but we do hope to get word back to everyone who's written, because we do deeply appreciate all your thoughts and prayers, and condolences have been really very heartwarming. So thank you. And now to the show, Patrick.
Back to Patrick. I like this. I wish the Freeburg could just follow me around. I could just say, back to me. So, people keeps asking, are telling me it had to be so hard for you and Beaver to deliver that eulogy, and 255,000 viewers, but no one's counting. And the thing is, it wasn't, because that was what Jeannie and I did. We're speakers, and it was an easy eulogy to write. What was hard was today, walking in this morning with all the sound equipment, which is what I did every Saturday for the last year and a half. And and I didn't hear Jeannie's voice calling from her office. Why are you late? Hurry up. No, she never said that to me. But this is, it's a good experience, I think, for everybody to be able to re-engage in this way. And so I would like to bring on right now a person who Jeannie knew for a very long time, loved very much, and was her bestest friend, Miss Norma Rose. I feel like Merv Griffith. Norma, use your microphone.
Okay, so I'm just going to take it from him. All these people are so emotionally in control. Well, I'm not. I can't guarantee you anything. As Tony knows, I have some hissy fits and breakdowns at times, but I think I'm okay, and I'll move on. And I came prepared. I have it in my little notebook here. And I wore that out. I'm going to talk about a few memories, and I'm well aware of the other people today. But we had so many memories, and I've jotted down just a few. But I'm going to start with my outfit. The charcuterie board day was grand, and it was so much fun until I did not win. And I was I was just heartbroken. So I am here to say, first of all, that Jeannie, I have forgiven you. I have forgiven you. And I wore this outfit, and I wanted to put that memory behind me. And congratulations to Leslie, the winner. But I came that day prepared, and today I'm prepared writing, just like y'all know that teachers do. But Jeannie had this. I'm just going to talk, as I told Patrick, just a few things I thought about and thinking about this day. That Jeannie had the ability to make us all feel connected. I don't know how she did it, but it was a little gift that she had. And I'm not talking into the mic. I'm doing better now.
You're doing good.
This is not my thing. But anyway, she made us all feel connected. And all of the Facebook friends, I felt like they were my friends. And that's the way she wanted it. And she made all of us a little bit bigger than we really were, but that was okay too. I didn't correct her. I enjoyed it. And during these days and before and traveling with her, I met so many of you. I appreciate all your kindness to me. So here I go emotionally, but in your kindness to me, and I appreciate all of it. And I can't start calling names, of course, because it's just too many. But you're special people. And I remember being in Boston. I've said this on this show, that we were in a little cafe eating, and I read this, and it changed my life. It said, "Friends of friends are friends," and I knew then I was indeed blessed. I looked at Jeannie, and I knew then I had a lot of friends. So in this life, we all live, and then we die. But we always have memories forever. And we're all working hard on that. Wherever we are with family and friends, we're creating memories, and we're passing them on forever and ever and ever. And that's what I did with Jeannie. And so in these days and weeks, I have thought about all our great memories, but I will just share a few. Now, some of you figured this out. Jeannie and I talked a lot as she was traveling to Myrtle Beach. We might talk the whole way down there. But when she was home, she was working, and we had short conversations. I knew it was going to be short. And it was like, Norma. And she didn't even say Norma Rose, because that took a few more seconds. She'd say things like, Norma, we're going to Stanford next week with Jerry and Alan, and they're going to play, and then they're going to play golf at Pebble Beach, and we're going to shop the consignment shops, and I want you be ready. We're going to pick you up at 6:30 in the morning. Now you be ready. And that was just, we went. Of course, y'all know, not only to Stanford, we went. I can't remember, but LSU, Pittsburgh, Louisville, Houston, Virginia Beach. Just lots of places. I may have said Houston, but and Jeannie and I always enjoyed that play, and we played too.
Well, what's funny is that y'all did a lot of sports. Y'all went to a lot of sporting events, and two women who love sports as much as you and my mother-in-law Tony, is no coincidence that y'all were in her life.
Right. It was so easy. We were a perfect match. And talking about sports, she would call me often and say, Norma, have you got the TV on? Do you know who's winning the ball game? It could be 9/11. It could be anything. She didn't want me to get behind. She wanted me to know what was going on in the world. And we shared a lot of football and sports scores. She wanted me to know. And I usually was headed on. I knew what was going on. But she wanted to make sure I had her back and she had my back.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like, Norma, we're going to Nashville now. Tony's going, and we're going to see Carol Burnett, and we're going to go backstage and see her and meet her. And it was grand, as Tony knows. Or it might be, Norma, are you ready? We're going to Florida, and Howard and Bev are going to we're going to stay with them. And they're so excited, but we're going to have the best time. And of course we did. And she flew off to, she went on to Marco Island, I think, and she looked at me and said, can you get home by yourself? And I said, I think I can.
Did you hitchhike?
She said, you got to go through Atlanta Airport. I said, I've been through many times without you. I'm going to make it home. I guarantee you, I can get there. She said, well, just always shoot. She was always concerned about me. And then,
not enough to not leave you, but
right, she was always thinking, because she never knew what I was thinking. And then, anyway, it was one conversation after the other.
Keep by your mouth.
And my least favorite, when she would do this, I'd answer the phone and it would say, Norma? Yeah? Oh, I called the wrong number. I did not like that. I was so excited. I thought we're going to have a few minutes to talk, but no, we did not. Then there was times like we're going to Louisville to the Bestest Friend Convention, and I knew for months we were going with the pashminas and the wine glasses, the hillbilly wine glasses that I made. And we saw people like Linda Cream and just all sorts of special people that changed my life forever, really. And
you did yoga on stage.
I did yoga on stage, and I'm finally getting back to my yoga after this pandemic.
I love yoga.
And I'm not like Leslie, but
strawberry with little sprinkles on top.
To 2 classes, and here I am today. But then these little conversations, my last one was Wednesday night before she died on Saturday. And it was about 7 o'clock, and she called and said, Norma, I'm very tired and I'm going to bed. Do not talk. Well, I've heard that before. Do not talk. Listen. Okay. And she said, Norma, I have 2 things I have to ask you. Okay. Can you take me to my long appointment on Monday? Yes. Can you take me to my appointment on Tuesday? Yes. And she usually said goodbye. And that night she said good night. Whatever. And but I'll always miss the phone calls. And sometimes she waited too long to call, and I didn't like that. But anyway, I understood she was working.
But you and I talk now on the phone.
Yeah.
I know we're not bestest friends, but we still talk.
And you return my text, and I like that too. And I have one little, I could tell 1,000 telephone conversations, but I'll stop with those memories. But I'll tell this one little story because I am a storyteller, and I got the ring guards, and maybe that's my story now, but I won't get into that today. But Jeannie was always concerned about all our stuff, like all of us are. What's going to happen to our stuff? And we were standing in the hall. Jane Tucker was here, and she got into it again. We're going shopping, buy some more stuff. And she said, what's going to happen to all my stuff? And I said, Jeannie, I'm not worried about that. I'm just living my life, and I'm just not going to do that. And she said, well, I have to have a plan. And those who know me, it came up in my head. I had the plan. I said, I got the plan. She said, what is it? And I said, it's going to be like this, Jeannie. The last 2 standing will take care of everything. And she said, I like that. So on Monday after the service, Jane Tucker and I were in the closet. And of course, we knew where most of the stuff came from. And we revisited all of that. And that was the beginning of this journey without Jeannie. But anyway, it was not easy, of course. But anyway, I'm going to give these other people a time to talk.
Well, thank you for being here. And Jeannie loves you, and we loved you, and we're not done.
No, and I love all you fans, and I just have a lot of gratitude today for Jeannie and her fans. And
I want to mention a fan that I forgot to mention at the beginning, and that's Linda Harris. I got here today, and I went out and I looked all around, and I did not see donuts, and I was so disappointed. I went on the porch and I looked up and down the street. There were no donuts. I came back in here. About 10 minutes later, Tony comes in carrying 3 boxes of donuts from Linda Harris, and I thank you from the bottom of my gut.
And Linda, I am taking some home.
Yes.
I saw them come in. Last time I did not. I'm on to this now.
I know
I'm
it.
Getting smarter.
Linda is a good friend. She may even grow up into bestest friend category. She keeps sending them donuts.
Exactly. And I love you all, and thank you, and thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, my heart.
We love you. Somebody, I saw a question. Somebody said, Patrick, if you were going to write a song about Jeannie, what would you rhyme with charcuterie? Yeah, why don't you go ahead and leave? leave the microphone. But somebody said, what would you rhyme with? Hold on, we're gonna make sure Norman makes it out of here. Okay. She said, what would you rhyme with charcuterie? And I'm like, well, cowboy booteries. What do you think? All right, so Freebird, we're gonna I'm gonna introduce in a second. Take that comment off, please. Introduce some of the cast of characters that Jeannie talked about, that she was friends with, that she that were so much a big part of her life, and they were so kind to be here today. And we figured out the technology to make that possible. And so here we are with Debbie Childers and Jane Tucker from New York City, now Savannah, Georgia. Jane Herlong and Al McCree, the Nashville people. Why don't y'all unmute yourselves so we can talk to you? Y'all say, no, can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear Al. I can hear Jane Herlong. Jane Tucker, say something.
Okay. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
I can hear you. All right. Okay. So this is very exciting because I just think the world of y'all, and Jeannie thought the world of y'all, and Al may have given me my first job out of college, other than the restaurant that I worked in. And it was funny because when I moved to Nashville, my father said, son, I will support you in spirit. Get a job. And so if you want to be the next Garth Brooks, you're going to have to earn it. And so I did get a job. I actually got 3 jobs, and one was working for Al McCree. He was full-time professional speaker at the time. And so I was making sales calls on his behalf, and I worked from 8 to 12. But what he didn't know is I went straight from there across town to work for another speaker. And then after that job, I went to the restaurant to work until 1 a.m. Well, I was consistently about 5 minutes late, and Al's an ex-military man. And finally he said, Patrick, if you're going to be late, you can't work for me anymore. And I said, I'm sorry, Al. And then I told him all the jobs I've been working. He said, you know what? I'll give you a pass. So if we could go ahead, I want to talk to Al for a moment. Al is who we call the Nashville people. And because when Al came into Jeannie's, not yet, Bird, go ahead and take him down. When Al came into Jeannie's life, I mean, we all knew each other through the National Speakers Association, but Al lives in Nashville, and he ran a record company. He knows the music business, and he's the one who got Jeannie into theaters. And so, Al, if you don't mind, I'd love to hear about kind of how that all came to be and how you took her career to another level.
Well, thank you. Let me just say I was really blessed to work with Jeannie on a professional level for about 12 years. When I had the record business, we also had very good digital distribution, which in 2010 was a big deal. And so I asked Jeannie if I could distribute her recordings to iTunes and Apple Music and those kinds of places. And she said yes. And then we also, sent clips. Actually, Jeannie sent clips to YouTube, and then we sent clips to Sirius XM Radio. We don't exactly know how it happened, but someone took the clip, which was called Left Brain's Grocery List, retitled it, Don't Send a Man to the Grocery Store, and put it up on YouTube as an audio clip only. And Jeannie was really kind of upset about that because she said they should be buying this clip on iTunes. And after discussion, I'm sure Tony got involved as well. We said, well, let's put up the video. And when the video went up, that went viral. It had the audio clip. So when that went viral, in my back of my mind, I said, well, if she's viral, that means we could sell tickets, public tickets. And so I partnered with a local promoter by the name of Outback Concerts, and we did 2 shows. And we said, well, we're going to take these shows. Well, we're going to take them to where you have fans. So we found out digitally that she had the biggest fan base in Texas, particularly Dallas, and also North Carolina. Tony said the same thing. She said, that's where I'm shipping product. So we did our first show in Dallas, Texas at the Lakewood Theater and sold it out in about 2 weeks. And we also did the show that same weekend at the Carolina Theater in Durham. Didn't sell out quite as fast, but it did sell really well. So that was the start back in 2011. And actually, the very first show that we did together was a charity event through my church for the Father's Day for the flood. Nashville that year had a terrible flood, and we raised almost $40,000 in offering from the Jeannie performance here. And then we went on to promote shows all across the country. We had an agent who came calling for us, and she worked with Paul Lohr at New Frontier for a while. And then he eventually ended up with Jackie Kanabe, first at APA, and then Jackie moved to UTA. And Jeannie was a national touring act. I mean, because she was a celebrity, because of her YouTube following, also all of you out there on Facebook as well. And then when she passed, she had 53 shows on the books. and we were going strong, and she was going strong. So I was really blessed to work with her. She was an absolute genius at what she did with her very unique niche of storytelling. And I can tell you that I've had no greater professional um, success in my life than sitting in the back of a sold out auditorium and watching a couple thousand people just laughing like there's no tomorrow. So it was a real blessing for me to work with her. She was absolutely one of the hardest working, if not the hardest working people I ever knew. And we just had a great professional relationship. Now, we did have our moments when she would chew me out, just like anytime I was in the military, I got chewed out. But she always had a good reason for that. I mean, when we got done, I understood where she was coming from. So as a result, we had a very strong professional relationship right up to the end. But it was I was really blessed to have worked with her, to see this blossoming of celebrity. And if I hadn't been there to help her go and say, she'd have found somebody else to do it. I was just lucky enough to be the right guy at the right time.
Well, I'm not sure that that's the case, Al, because you really did, especially in the early days, mold her into the performing artist that she became. Not talent-wise, she always had the talent, but I don't think she had she saw herself filling out theaters until you introduced her to that. So
she always said she wasn't a star, she wasn't an entertainer. But then over the years, that kind of changed. She, later on, when she get on an airplane, if she wasn't recognized, she would be mad. She would be upset.
Well, and she'd make you take the green M&Ms out of the candy bowl and backstage too.
We did a show one time down in Florida, down in Tampa, Florida, and we were in the breakfast buffet line at the Courtyard by Marriott or some restaurant. I don't remember where it was. And some guy came up to her and said, "Are you Jeanne Robertson?" And she says, "Yes." He said, "I recognize your voice." He recognized her voice from the Sirius XM radio stuff. He didn't know what she looked like. So that was not an uncommon event.
I find that I'm not encumbered with fan love like that. So thank you so much.
One viral video away, Patrick.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Don't send. Well, we'll work on it. One thing about Al, and I've known Al since I was 22 years old. Him being a career military man and spent a career in the Air Force, he's not afraid of those tough conversations, and he'll go head to head with agents and theater owners, and he's a good guy to have in your corner. And I know Al represents other artists that we're going to be hearing a lot from in the future. So Al, thank you so much.
So one quick thing too. It's funny. Tony and Jeannie used to have this. I'd talk to them on the phone, and they would say, "Well, am I getting military Al today, or am I getting compassionate Al today?"
Well, actually, we didn't let military Al talk to some people.
That's right. Yeah.
We were scared. We were literally like, no. And then if a problem came up, Jeannie'd say, "I think we need military Al to handle this one for us." So we learned to appreciate military Al, but we knew we could get the softer side too.
That's right. Well, Al, thanks so much. The next person I want to talk to is Debbie Childers. Debbie is a she's just such a great lady. A lot of you saw when she was on the show over a year ago, but just to give you some backstory, Al and Jeannie started a comedy competition, a humor competition, and so people submitted their videos from all over the country, and the grand prize was $20,000.
Yeah,
Did you not get that, Debbie? Oh,
No.
grand prize was sharing the stage with Jeannie at the theater of their choice. And I was a judge in that competition, and I said from the beginning, now that no one's here to dispute me, this is your winner. This is the one. So Debbie got to, she opened up a theater, and they became great friends. She's been up here to the back porch. And Debbie, I'd love for you to just talk to people and tell how you Jeannie's influenced you, and just tell us more about you. We love you.
Well, Jeannie and I go back a long, long way. Back in, I'm going to say 1990, maybe. I was over the United Way drive for a hospital in Knoxville, and they sent me to a luncheon. And Jeannie was the speaker for that luncheon at UT that year. And when I left there that day, I can honestly tell you, and I'm not exaggerating a bit when I say this, when I left that luncheon that day, my life changed forever. I walked out of there and I said, I got stories. I want to tell stories the rest of my life like that. And at the time, I was real active in speaking in churches and leading Bible studies and retreats. And what I ended up doing was incorporating that style of telling stories into all of that. So 30 years passes by, and during those 30 years, I would go and see Jeannie in a show or something like that. I got my husband hooked on her, and so we started, seeing her at different shows. And then 30 years later, some ladies in my Sunday school class, and in fact, after I met her there in Knoxville, I found a book I thought she would like. It was called the Southern Belle Primer, and I wanted to send it to her. And I was Dave Gordon. I think you know Dave Gordon, Patrick. I was Dave Gordon's Sunday school teacher at the time. Dave got me her address, and I sent it to her, and then she wrote me back and thrilled me to death. So then 30 years later, my Sunday school class said, you need to enter this contest. And they just made me do it. So I got a bunch of people at my church. I just said, I'm going to do a show. I'm going to record a comedy act to enter a contest. And I thought maybe 50 people would show up. And I had over 200 people that night to watch the show. And never in a million years did I dream I'd win it. And when they called me, I was actually on Paris Island for my grandson's graduation from Marine boot camp. And I got the call there, and Al called first. And then he said, Jeanne Robertson's on the line. And then Jeannie said, you won. When she said that, I said, shut up.
Now, weren't y'all in the van?
I just told Jeanne Robertson to shut up. But from that moment on, I felt at home with her. I felt like we'd been friends forever. And then we did get to be friends. And I got to tell you, there are days something funny happens. And the first thing I want to do is pick up the phone and call Jeannie, because that's what I did. And I miss her. I miss her terribly. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Mm-hmm. But it's been a wonderful thing to know her, and then to actually meet her and get to know her better and better. It's just been wonderful.
Well, and I imagine that when you came up here, you and your lovely daughter, well, first of all, let me just say this. When they got here, I went down and I introduced myself, and Debbie said, nice to meet you. We're dragging something underneath our car.
Well, here's the funny thing. I mean, all this time I've been looking forward to driving to Jeanne Robertson's house. And somewhere on the way, I hit something, and it pulled like part of the bottom part of the car out. And so when I pulled into her driveway, it sounded like I was dragging metal. And she's standing out in her driveway, and Amy said, Mom, this is so typical you. I pulled into her driveway, and it's like, ee! So she said, Patrick's on his way. So I met you as you crawled under my car.
That's right, which is also typical. Patrick, get under that car and fix it.
That was my first meeting of Patrick Henry.
Yeah.
You became my mechanic.
That's right. So, well,
we
do
had
me a
so
favor.
much fun that weekend. It's just, it will be something Amy and I'll always remember. It was just a fun weekend.
Yeah, well, and that's when I really learned that y'all are big Auburn fans.
I'm not.
Well,
Amy,
I'm sorry. Your wonderful daughter is.
Yeah, Amy is.
I apologize.
Amy, people ask us, does it disappoint you that Amy became a Presbyterian? Because my husband's a Baptist preacher. And I said, no, but it kills me that she's an Auburn fan.
But she went to Auburn, right?
No, her father-in-law played at Auburn.
Oh, okay. Because I'm a lifelong Auburn fan.
Oh yeah.
But I've been shocked at how your allegiance will shift when your tuition payments go to a different school. Now we're all about the Wolfpack.
Yeah, that's true. Well, when I got ready to go to college, my daddy said you can go anywhere you want to go, but if you go to Auburn, I'm not going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So that was my choice.
Well,
but no,
my dad was just thrilled I went to college.
We had a great time talking about Auburn while we were there.
Yeah, I know it. Well, thank you so much for jumping on, and don't go
Thank
anywhere,
you.
because if we have
This
more
is
time,
just
I want you to tell a story. But
you what?
don't go anywhere, because I want you to
Okay.
tell a story. I want to come back to you. So
Okay.
next, I want to talk to Jeanne Tucker. Um, you all know Jeanne. She is known Jeannie for
25
over 20
years.
years.
25.
For how long?
25.
Wow, 25 years. It's almost as old as I am. But you know her as Jeanne Tucker from New York City. She was Jeannie's fashion consultant and friend, and she's a good friend to us, and we just love her. And I want Jeanne to just kind of tell, how they met. And I'm also going to have Jeanne show you what's going on in her house right now, because as Norma Rose, when they were talking about what to do when somebody passes, that the other two will take care of all their jewelry and clothes. That's exactly what happened. And Jeanne took all the jewelry and clothes, and they're going to auction it off. And so, in a very tasteful way. And so, Jeanne, tell us about how you met Jeannie, and just take it from there.
Well, I first met Jeannie in about 1952. I'm sorry, 1992. What am I talking about? 1992. See, this is not my thing. Anyway, and I saw her and I thought, oh, wow, I could really do a job on her if I could get a hold of her and make her absolutely divine. And she was sort of in her librarian basketball coach mode when I saw her, as far as clothing. So 5 years later, I met her when she was in New York. And I said that I was a fashion consultant and that I would love to work with her. And she kind of blew me off. She said, well, my bestest friend and my assistant tell me I need help, but I don't know. But then she found out I had a very tall teenage daughter at the time who was about 6'4", and that suddenly perked her interest. So a month later, she calls me, and I fly down to Burlington, and she figured, oh, well, she's just going to fool around. Well, after 3 days, I'd gone through all of her closets, and we had piles of clothes on her pool table and her ping pong table. And I said, now, Jeannie, I am not leaving here until you call the local church to come pick these clothes up, because I know after 3 days, when I leave, you're going to put them right back in your closet. She said, how did you know that? And I said, I've got you figured out real quick. So anyway, from then on, we just became very good friends, and I helped her, when the years that she was doing primarily keynote for corporations. And then when Al got involved and she started doing theater shows, then we had to get her a little more glamorous and glitzy. So it was fun. Every dress I look at and every outfit, I remember the story of the day she ordered it. Of course, everything had to be custom made for her height. And everything had to be in color because of all of the dark curtains behind her. And we shortened her skirts, and I got her into higher heels. I said, what makes a difference if you're 6'2" and you become 6'5" in high heels? You're on the stage. No, you just, that even makes you that much better. So anyway, I was very happy to become one of her quote unquote cast characters. We had a lot of
Just chill out. She'll be back. Okay, it looks like Jane's a little frozen up right now, so I'm not sure she'd be thrilled with that particular frame. She comes back, we're going to hear a horrible word. What, Tony? Okay, so we're going to get back to Jeanne in a second when she's unfrozen. Somebody text Jeanne and tell her what's happened. But well, so one thing that I forgot to mention is Beaver. Beaver was supposed to be on the show today, and he just bought a new computer, and apparently technology, knowledge of computers and technology is passed down in the bloodstream in that family, and we couldn't figure out how to get it working. So, but I just wanted to say to Beaver, send our condolences to him, because he and I have grown a lot closer over the last few weeks because of the shared loss, and I've been helping him do what he needed to do. And as much of a loss as Jeannie's passing is for us, it's amplified 1,000-fold for him. And so we just want, if he's watching right now, let him know that we love y'all and we're here for you, and this journey's not over. So well, while Jane is this is gone, but she'll be back. Jane, if you can hear me, just walk towards the light. So, there's another Jane that I want to bring on, Jeanne Robertson. Jane is one of my dearest friends. I've known her since I was
this big.
That's right.
That's true.
It's true. I was 1.5 feet tall. But I've known Jane since I was a kid, and even now we talk a couple times a week.
Oh yeah.
We're both in the same profession. Obviously we're humorists, but we're speakers. We speak to the same clients, and we just share. And she's a big blessing in my life. And Jeannie really liked Jane, but that wasn't always the case. Now, was it, Jane? Tell us how you met Jeannie.
Well, I love Jeannie. I heard Jeannie, of course, before I really met Jeannie. She was brilliant, and I miss her like crazy. But let me just tell you, I had to set up. Our town is so small, the best internet's at the funeral home. So here I am at the funeral home, and I had to put up my backdrop to make it a little more cheerful. But that's true. Little town of Johnston. But I started speaking in schools, and a friend of mine gave me this cassette tape. This is how long ago it's been, of this funny former Miss North Carolina, and I'm a former Miss South Carolina. And so I thought, oh, wow, that is a funny story that woman's telling about twirling a baton in a pageant. I think I'll use that story, and I'll end my programs with that. Now, I never said it happened to me, never said that, but it really doesn't matter in the world of professional speaking. That's a big, big no-no. So I hadn't joined our Professional Speakers Association at the time. So I told that thing, and I thought, I'm going to send a VHS to Jeanne Robertson, and she'll just love me. Well, I was not.
What a VHS is.
Yeah, well, that's true. About like this and the old videotapes. Thank you, Patrick. That's true. And I remember I was 9.999 months pregnant with my daughter. And the phone rings, and I hear, Jane, is this Jeanne Robertson? And I said, yes. She said, this is Jeanne Robertson. Well, I thought, I'm good. She's calling me to tell me how great I am. And she said, this was terrible. Oh, she said, are you telling my baton story? And I said, no, I've told it for years, and I'm just flat out sick of it. That is not good. Well, let me just tell you, bless her heart, she was very professional. She explained to me that professional speakers don't tell other folks stories.
Her attorney wasn't very nice.
Thank God it didn't go there. But she just explained to me, now, this is the way it works. That's like a signature story, and you need to get your own signature story. So I learned a whole lot right in that conversation, because Jeannie was the consummate professional, just like Al said. But here's the turnaround. So I'm helping this young lady, and I was speaking at an event. She saw me, and another one of my clients hired her. I had my child. I'll never forget this. I get a phone call from the client, and she said, somebody's giving your speech word for word. I said, shut your mouth. And it was the girl I was helping. So let me just tell you, I know that is not a cool thing to do. I felt like, what? So it all came back on me. But Jeannie did teach me a lot, and I've loved watching her. I've tried my very first theater show. Norma Rose sent me her Pashmina, and I shared that in memory of Jeannie. And I've just studied everything she's done, because she is totally brilliant was just the most incredible storyteller and a huge blessing. And I'm like y'all, I'm just kind of going, I can't believe she's not here. But when I had that pashmina draped on that stage, I said, you know what? She's with me, and what a blessing she's been in my
Tell us
life.
what Norma said to you when she gave you the pashmina.
Well, she was very honest. She said, you know, Jeannie didn't start out loving you, but she ended. She liked you, okay. And then Norma Rose said, oh, Lord, I shouldn't have told you that, Jane. But I loved her honesty, and I've grown to love Norma Rose too. She's funny, man. I'm telling you,
Did you
that's
say
a
I've grown to love Norma Rose.
no.
Didn't like you at first, Norma.
No, I love Norma Rose, but it took Jeannie and I a while to understand each other, and I had great respect for her. She was brilliant. There is
Right.
no other professional. In fact, can I say this? Before she passed away, it was my honor to hook her up with a good friend of mine who's done a 5-hour documentary called American Royalty. And I'm just praying Netflix picks it up. It's just that good. And he interviewed every Miss America. I said, let me tell you something. You need Jeanne Robertson on that documentary. There is no one that I know in the Miss America system that has created her own Miss America moment. And Jeanne and I talked about that. And he was supposed to come to Burlington a few days after she had passed away. And I hate that she didn't get to be a part of that, but I was so thrilled that my friend Jay Pitts did talk to Jeannie and fell in love with her. So that was a thrill for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she really, I mean, we joke around about that, but she really did like and admire you. And it took her a while, I think. I mean, for first part of her career, she stayed away from female humorists. It took her a while to where she embraced, I'm joking, but she embraced younger, up and coming humorists and really encouraged them and gave them a platform. And I'd mentioned that in the eulogy, that she really enjoyed opening her stage. And I know that you and Debbie and countless others were benefiting
I'm
from
not that much younger.
Well, wasn't gonna say
Take it,
anything,
girl.
but,
Take it. Debbie, take it, honey.
well, Debbie, we have Jane keeps trying to pop back in, but I think her iPad went out of juice. So before we move on, I want to make an announcement. We a lot of you have guessed it, but you know, when Jeannie passed, we were just going to let the show go. But so many people started messaging us saying, please keep it going. Please keep it going. And I decided that 500,000 followers is a terrible thing to waste. And so we have decided to keep the show going. It's going to just be live from the back porch, and it's not going to be here anymore. This is the last show from Jeannie's back porch, but we're going to move it to my house. And it's going to be not about me. It's going to be a guest-driven show. So we're going to have guests on, and what I'd love for you to do is send names of people you'd love to see. We know Charles Barkley. We're working on it, but if there's somebody that you know that's funny, who's, I mean, does this for a living, not just your aunt, but maybe we'll have them on, and we're going to see where it goes. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm not sure we can do it every week. I'll try. It may be once a month, but I will certainly let everybody know. And we're going to keep broadcasting to these channels, and I'm going to give you at some point my YouTube channel so we can make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be a part of it. Now, we have some time. So, Debbie, somebody had mentioned in the comments that they wanted to hear, or they loved a story you tell about an air conditioner and an RV. Is that something you can tell?
Yeah, my husband he's kind of known for his contraptions, and we had a car that broke down over on the campus of UT, and we got it home, and he said, if I can get this car to the shop and if I can get it to the dealership in the morning, I'm gonna buy another car. And so I wasn't with him, and he bought a Ford Ranger pickup truck, and it had a camper shell on the back. Now we have 2 children, and this was going to be our family car. So we have now a truck that seats 2 people, and we have 4 people in our family. So we were going on a trip, and I said, "What do you plan to do with our kids?" He said, "Well, it's got a camper shell on the back." Now, this was August, and it was really hot. And this camper shell is made of metal. And of course, the truck bed's made of metal. So he put our children in the back of this camper shell, thinking that we could open that slide window in the back and have all the air go back to them. Well, we got from Pigeon Forge to Knoxville. And I looked back and I said, "Tim, our children are dying." I mean, they were there was not a dry thread on them. They were just burning up. So he said, "I'll think of something." That always scares me. So he went into Walmart, and I put the kids up in the front seat with me to let them get cooled off a little bit. He went into Walmart. I said, "What are they going to sit on?" He bought them vinyl bean bags. Vinyl bean bags in August in a metal box. So they're dying back there. So he stopped at Walmart, and he came out and he had a bag. In the bag, he had dryer vent, the round dryer vent, and he had duct tape, of course, duct tape. So
Of course.
he came out, he taped this duct tape all the way around the air vent, put this dryer vent on there, and ran it through that window back to the back, where our kids were sitting on vinyl bean bags in a metal hot box. And so we go driving down the road, and we got about to Chattanooga, and I turned around, and this is what I saw. Our kids were going, "Give it to me! Give it to me!" Fighting over the air vent. We got to my daddy. We got to our house, and my daddy jumped off the porch and came running out there. He looked in there, and he said, "What is that, a science experiment?" Because we were back. Oh, that is about this much of a story that's about this long. We have more stories about Tim and his contraptions. But I hope
That's
you enjoyed
funny.
that.
That's funny. I just remember those trips that we used to take as a kid. We had I think it was a Lincoln Continental, one of those really long, stretched, gangster looking cars, and my dad didn't believe in pulling over to use the restroom. So we were either peeing in the woods on the side of the road, or we had an empty mayonnaise jar.
Wasn't empty long.
Yeah. So, hey, Jane, would you do me a favor? Bring Jane back up, please, Freeberg. So Jane, one of my favorite stories that Jane has told me in one of our many conversations was about when the guy she had surgery, and their husband asked a question to the doctor about growling.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'll tell you what, it is. I was speaking in Myrtle Beach, and my sister had breast cancer. Of course, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, ladies. Take care of your mammograms. So I was sharing that my sister had a great attitude as she went through getting reconstructed and both breasts removed, and she was amazing. She really did great. And so I was sharing this in Myrtle Beach, and this woman came up to me, and I know, Debbie, you probably get this, and Al, you're familiar, and Patrick, of course. People come up to you and start telling you stories, and you go, "Ugh, thank you, Lord. Please make this a good one." Well, this was incredible. She said, my sister done had that done to her too. And so she asked me to go to the doctor because her husband, he don't listen right. And it's like the wheel's turning, but the hamster's dead. I went, oh my God, this is going to be good. And so she said, yeah. So we was sitting there, and that doctor, he's real nice. We was in the office and all, and I was helping her husband listen. He said, let me tell you what I'm going to do to your wife. I am going to take what I done took off, but I'm going to replace it, and I'm going to move up her abdomen. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move up her abdomen. And do you understand? And he said, no, sir, I don't. And the doctor said, let me explain it different. I'm going to take your wife's stomach, and I'm going to move it up to replace what I done had to take off. You got any questions? Lord, his eyeballs got this big. He said, yes, I do. If she goes to getting hungry, are them things going to growl?
Where can I sign up for that surgery?
I tell you, well, your husband would probably duct tape something. You never know.
I'd
And
like
so-
to know the answer to that question.
It was like, you're just going, thank you so much. That was gold.
Yep,
Funny.
I can use that.
Well, y'all, thank you
Says
so
I'm
much. Al, would you like to say anything before we sign off?
Thank you very much for being on. We haven't talked much about it, but Jeannie does still have lots of products for sale.
There it is.
DVDs and books, and of course, all of her products are available digitally as well. For those of you that don't want physical product, they're all available for download or streaming or whatever. And so, if you to keep Jeannie alive in your hearts, you can certainly have one of her products, or you can certainly, like, all of her DVDs are on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime or you want to stream it, that's a great way to enjoy Jeannie for years to come.
That's right. And Tony wants to say a few things.
I did. Al just reminded me we do have product for sale, and if you want things for Christmas, I know it's October, but I mean the post office is even telling us that they're going to be slower. I mean, they're prepared. They're already
setting
saying,
expectations.
Right. They're already telling us that. So I would say get your orders in just so we can get them out, and you will have them in plenty of time. But yeah, we're happy to we still have plenty of, people are worried we're going to run out, and we're not. We've got DVDs, CDs, the Left Brain hats, and both style books. So we're good to go. And we will, look forward to hearing from you all, and we'll get everything to you. Thank you. Bye. Or I'm saying bye. We're not through. No, we're not through.
That's not saying yet. So
Oh, good,
before we
Patrick.
go ahead and put it, make it all about me. Thank you. And Jeannie always, thank you. Jeannie used to always ask me to sing, and she loved when I sang, and she was always so kind to insist that she gave me a stage to sing from, and she was always frustrated that I never wrote her a song, and I still hadn't. But I'm working on it. But I want to play you a song and kind of close things out today that I wrote for my dad when he passed away 20 years ago. And so I think it's just as relevant now for Jeannie as it was for him. So our hearts cried out in sorrow by her graveside. Preacher uttered words I can't recall. The wind blew cold despite the sunny weather, as we laid to rest the woman loved by us all. She now sings with the angels, with a voice before a king. Her weary frame now strong and able, free from the burdens this life brings. My tears soak the ground beneath me as we hang our heads to cry. But I don't weep for our sister, I weep for those that she left behind. She's a ship distant on the water, ever fading from our earthly view. A far far offshore holds the ones that came before her, saying, welcome home, my child, we prepared a place for you. She now sings with the angels, with a voice fit for a king. Her weary frame now strong and able, free from the burdens this life brings. My tears soak the ground beneath me as I hang my head and cry. I don't weep for our sister, I weep for those that she left behind. I weep for those that she left behind.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Well,
Just beautiful.
Such a blessing and such a good time, and we're going to keep it going. And I know Jeannie would approve. And Jeannie will always be a part of the show going forward, meaning I won't use bad words, and I will not fuss at people who say ridiculous things, because she would not have wanted that. But we love y'all, and we love Jeannie, and thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you for allowing me to.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
True honor.
And
It was truly.
And as Jeannie would say, keep laughing. So, Freebird, why don't you play us out of here? Yeah, it's okay. I'll wait. And go.
She's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson. Oh, she's a heck of a lot of fun, Jeanne Robertson.